Hello,
Oh,
back again. I've
back,
retreated to the tent because it's raining.
yeah, live to you from the HQ of a tent.
Yeah,
Right.
we've got
Well,
the little beasts are in here as well.
a cute. Is it a boy or a girl? What's his name?
It's a boy.
Hey,
He was in a fight with a oh, he was in a fight with a
oh,
much bigger dog and lost an eye. Poor thing.
oh, then,
But I think it's cool. It looks like a pirate now.
hey, well, there you go. Yeah, you know when people cosplay with their animals, like if you get an eye patch and then cosplay the pirate or
Yeah,
something, that'd be great.
that's my girlfriend draws like some of the pictures I use for the stuff doodle she's done of these two
Ooh, I'd like to see that.
as martial artists.
Oh, I'd love to see that. I draw as well, so I'd love to see
Yeah.
like work like that.
But yeah, what were we saying? Yeah, we were saying about Wing Chun not used the way it should be.
Yeah, essentially. End stream done. Like that's about it. Wing Chun's used wrong.
Yeah,
End of story.
end of discussion. But
Yeah,
like I said again, like because I'm from a Tai Chi background,
yeah,
it is exactly like Tai Chi. You know, like we were saying about all kickboxing looks like kickboxing essentially.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like my Tai Chi instructor used to say, like the movements came first. You know, the fighting
yes,
came first. The style came second. Like
yeah,
people putting it into like forms and this is what we do here and this is what we do. That's people breaking down stuff that already
right.
existed.
Yeah, and that's how everything is done. Like all of science is done that way. So it's like it's and even just words themselves are like descriptive. Everything we do is describe things, and things are what they are, and then we describe them. So it makes sense. The thing that you're saying totally makes
Eh.
sense.
And my MMA coach, he said like the thing about a lot of martial arts now, like Wing Chun, Tai Chi, and all the rest. He said it's like trying to work out if someone like all technology went and then like 100 years from now there's no video footage. All you've got is a few black and white photos and some illustrations of
Yeah,
like boxers doing like
yeah,
and then someone's got to go, well, how did that actually work? What was the application? What was he
yeah.
doing there? How did it go into motion?
Right.
And
Even
the
worse
only way you
if
can really do
if
it,
we had this. If
yeah,
they
yeah,
had
exactly,
photos of this, that would make it even worse.
yeah. So I think like it's what they did with HEMA. It's what I've got a lot of respect for historical European martial arts
Yeah,
because they went, we found all these texts. So what we're going to do, we're going to practice and practice, and then we're going to spar each other
yeah,
and see what works and what makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, we're going to go back to the drawing board.
yeah, exactly.
Whereas most martial artists have gone about the other way. No, this has
Yeah,
to
like
work. It doesn't matter if
yeah, like
yeah, it
forcing
doesn't
the
matter
shape.
if no one else yeah,
Yeah.
no one's been able to make it work, but it's them that's wrong. It's not what we're
Oh yeah,
doing that's wrong.
yeah. The typical the martial artist is wrong, even
Yeah,
like if the practice is garbage. Yeah, that's an unfortunate criticism, but yeah, Hima's done it the right way. That's great, and I hate that sometimes from the MMA community or whatever the community thing is, it's like they sometimes criticize that approach as being, well, you're just calling it Wing Chun, but you're actually doing fighting, and it's like, well, again, isn't that the point? And of course it's
yeah,
like hard with getting like the actual names of the art, like you might as well call it whatever then, but it is true that these are described motions, and then the names and the styles and everything came, but it's just describing motion that happens if you fight. So I think sparring is definitely, it's always the best, like
you have to. Yeah, if you want to bring it to life, you have to spar. And the
yeah,
interesting thing is, like we're talking about Wing Chun, like Sammo Hung. You know who Sammo Hung is, don't you?
of course.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah. I'm talking to the martial geeks, so obviously you must know who Sammo Hung is. But a lot of people don't. For anyone who does know who Sammo Hung is, Sammo
It's a
Hung.
big guy with dancing boobs from Enter the Dragon. Come on.
Yeah, yeah, but he was him, Jackie Chan, and Yun Biao all came from the same like Peking opera school.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just yeah. I yeah. It doesn't matter. Keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah, yeah.
Appreciate
But so Sammo Hung had a real reputation as a fighter. Like
it. Yeah.
he would go and get in bar fights. You know, he'd go drinking, he'd get in a fight, and he was had a pretty good reputation as a fighter. Now, the system that he used more than anything else was Wing Chun.
Oh,
And
there you go.
when you see his films like The Prodigal Son,
Yeah.
like Warriors 2, like all these different like films that he's done the choreography, a lot of it is Wing Chun choreography, but it looks nothing like the Wing Chun.
Right. It looks less Wing Chun than the Wing Chun in Bruce Lee movies, which is
Yeah,
like where a lot of people like recognize Wing
yeah,
Chun.
and that's because Bruce Lee was taught by Ip Man,
Yeah. And
and
never finished the his training or whatever, was always like a just a step in
yeah, yeah,
what he was
and
doing.
people are, but he's well, he knows what Wing Chun, but that was his style of Wing Chun.
Right,
There were
exactly.
other people teaching different ways of doing Wing Chun all the way back since forever. And we were talking
Yes.
about Aikido.
Oh,
There were different practitioners of Aikido
so
depending
many.
on when they were taught by Ishiba. If they were
Yeah.
taught earlier on in his life, it's much more martial. The older
Yes.
he
And
got,
that
the more woo came
yeah,
into
and
it.
there's branches with like
Yeah,
Kenji Tomiki. Like for people who don't know, like Tomiki or Shotokan Aikido has competitions. It's like
yeah,
speed judo, essentially. And
yeah,
that's the thing that came from like when the Wu stuff, from what I remember, the Wu stuff started, and then Kenji was like, "Fuck that! I'm gonna branch out and do like a martial, like
yeah.
Aikido."
And there were other like earlier sort of senseis that were edged out of the Aikido Federation because they were like, "But this isn't real. This doesn't work."
Yeah,
And they were just like, "Well, we'll push you out because the stuff that sells, the stuff that looks good."
yeah, and hopefully we'll get like on our channel like an interview or slash discussion of this kind, because recently I've talked and met with an Aikido black belt that's very much of that mind, where he's like one of those like old school Aikido guys that actually like spars and does all this stuff. And
Yeah,
his like I can't remember what Dan of black belt he is, but we talked, and our first conversation was when I was on the phone. I was like, I'm this and that. You're the. I'm interested in Aikido, and then the first thing that came up in our conversation was, well, too bad. Because of those idiots, Aikido is not what it is. And when you hear that from an Aikido black belt, you're okay. So
yeah,
there's branches to this. Like
yeah. That'd be a great interview if you get it done.
hopefully we'll do that. So
Yeah,
and we have things up our sleeve. I think this Wednesday. Um, but I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm just gonna tease whoever watches this later.
yeah.
There's gonna be some interesting stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
let's get back to it. Enough shameless self promotion. Screw that.
well, that's what we're here for. But
Well, true. And you're
yeah,
you're almost at 400. You're almost at 400.
I got to pull, keep pulling
if
further
we
up.
if we
So
get this on Wednesday, hopefully we'll jump.
yeah,
So we'll see.
but the thing is,
Yeah,
I mean, I keep saying to you, you just need to be more consistent with your uploads because I noticed myself, like if you're consistent, and McDojo Life was telling you it yesterday as well. You need to be consistent because that's what
yeah,
the algorithm's looking for. That
yeah.
it's and
Just
if the more you can get engaged, and like I'm only like what is it, less than 40 ahead of you, so
yeah,
we keep pulling like that. But I start to pull away again because you might go a week or so without posting anything.
yeah,
And
yeah,
even when I'm away, like I've been away from home for like 3 weeks now, but I've still been releasing like a couple of shorts and a few videos
yeah,
just to make sure I put stuff out there.
yeah, yeah. So just keep the wheel spinning. You have to
Yeah,
keep it absolutely. So working on that. Sorry, Rob. We don't realize we're doing our
So,
best.
so right, I've got to keep away
Yeah,
ahead somehow, because
yeah,
you've got the advantage because you've got people you can do videos with. You know,
yeah,
actual you've got the potential to get a lot more people watching and get your ideas out there more. I have to do a lot of sort of video edits and pulling
yeah.
other material to make my point because it's generally just me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But it's valuable, great commentary, and I think like we do have plans about our channel, but I really enjoy like I'm definitely like I'm honestly here when we started the channel, we're just like doing clips of sparring sessions and like this
yeah,
technique and that technique. But like watching you and a couple other people who are just like, hello, I'm me, and I'm gonna talk about martial arts. That got me going, and that's why I made a bunch of videos like those. And I think that that's also valuable for the consistency because you can do that whenever. Like
yeah,
you get an idea, take your phone and just talk. While like some of the videos of like sparring or breakdown that takes time to edit and stuff. So it's like that's not a totally not a bad thing to do. So I don't think that like people obviously come back for your opinions and your stuff. So
yeah. I mean, one of the
in
things
general,
I
it's
have
valuable.
noticed though, if you are doing just talking videos, you need to splice in a couple of videos here and there. To,
Spice up some like MMA
well,
footage to
it's just
get
to
you
keep
really
people like watching because if it's just this, you know,
yeah.
it's kind of hard to keep people
Okay,
interested.
I'm gonna make this less boring to those people. Just a moment.
I'll,
We were talking about Bruce Lee earlier. Here's my Bruce Lee figure from.
yes,
Yeah, it's a super realistic Bruce Lee figure.
that
So
is really realistic. That's I used to have one. It wasn't that realistic, and I gave them away to my nephew because he was like he had nunchucks
oh, there you
and
go.
like my nephew's like, oh, I was like, oh, go on, you can have it. And like now I'm like, why did I do it? It was still boxed and everything.
Oh shit! But yeah,
Uh,
he's judging you. Look at his face.
he's judging everyone.
Oh yeah, this is a
That is a
great.
pretty cool figure.
That's a great figure. But it's a kit bash because those are if you were to go and buy like a boxed one, those are fucking too expensive. And then
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
bought the individual pieces, like order them and then kit bash the thing because I don't want to spend that much money on
Want to
toys.
bankrupt yourself on a
Yeah,
figure. Yeah,
like, what have I done? Oh, plus that Optimus Prime arrived, so that's a
yeah.
thing. Yeah, gotta keep the geeks like side of the channel active.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, my backdrop is full of because how old are
And
you?
noticing
You're only in your 20s, aren't you?
yeah, I'm 47. Just kidding. I'm
Yeah,
26. I'm 26.
26. Yeah, yeah. So
So,
a lot of
yeah,
it's like very much pre you being born. What I have on my shelf.
yeah. But I've seen your Masters of the Universe stuff, so I got
Yeah,
you. Got you.
but yeah, I've always been a geek, and I never plan on giving
Not
it up.
being. Yeah, that's like martial arts. If it's like it's hard when you love it. There's no like it just becomes a part of. It's a lifestyle, so you can't.
Yeah,
Would be contrary to everything you are. So
but I'm struggling at the moment because I'm not going to any classes. Like my fight gym that I've been a part of for like 10 years. Like
yeah.
the guy running it recently sort of went full time, and he's got like an automated system. You know, it's all hooked up to an app, and you have to pay. And I
Oh
always had an agreement with him. I paid like £50 a month, and I'd just come and do whatever classes I could get to.
yeah.
And then he changed it. You had to pay £70 a month, but I was still paying £50 a month because I do shift work. I don't get to
Yeah.
train all the time.
Yeah, like seasons as well. Like if it's summer, I'm doing way less training and way less videos because of that. Just like time.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah, and yeah, and I was like, I know it's still good value for money, but I kind of resent paying £70 a month for maybe doing one or two lessons
That's fair.
a week, and yeah, I'm kind of thinking, oh, maybe I'll just go to the jiu-jitsu, but then I don't want to give up the MMA,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's yeah, and I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest, that I'm being pushed that way to even think like that, and
yeah. I
uh,
can. It is what it is. It's like,
yeah, and I understand it for him. You know, he's now doing it full time. It's his full time career.
yeah,
He's now coaching, so you know, up to him, I guess. But at the same time, maybe if things calm down at work, I'll start
yeah.
going again. But yeah, there's a Chen Tai Chi teacher about to start up in my
Oh,
hometown. Yeah, so I'm thinking about going in and doing that thing again. It's funny how I'm going like sort of full
because
circle. I started off traditional,
exactly.
then
Yeah,
went
I was
combat
gonna say.
sport. Now I'm going back to traditional again. And I kind of think in my mid 40s as I am, like
But if I was ever gonna think of a person who could teach Tai Chi legitimately, I could see you doing that because, like what you had said, 3 MMA fights.
yeah,
Like even if you didn't have MMA fights, but you were sparring regularly and had the same mindset, like already, like you know what it is all about. Like you've
yeah,
been in the cage and you do understand Tai Chi as Tai Chi, and that is a niche. So, and that's what Rob from McDojo Life said. Like, find a niche for the channel, and I think that works for a lot of things. Like, even if you're starting, we'd like the Martial Geeks gang, we'd love to have our own gym in the future. But it's
yeah,
when you think you do really have to have a niche on the market, you really have to get your identity. And like, not many Tai Chi, legit Tai Chi people who've been in the cage. There's not many of them out there
yeah. No,
willing.
there's not that many. But the problem is, like, again, it's finding students is hard because the reason like the Misners of the world exist
Oh,
is because they feed people this fantasy. You know, why bother getting punched in the face
yeah,
when you
and
can just do a
hard work.
magical chi
Yeah,
force and end the fight by annihilating somebody's internal organs? You know, it's like
right. Making your heart explode.
yeah,
It's
and
making my
it's
brain explode for sure. That I can
yeah,
say
it
that.
makes my brain explode just with the audacity of it. And I'm getting a lot of people arguing recently, saying, "But unless you go there, you don't know. Unless you go there, you don't know." And I
I
say, like,
hate that.
I go, "Do
I
you
just
believe in no touch knockouts?" And they
like,
say,
come
"Well,
on.
no, that's ridiculous. Have you ever
But
been to a George Dillman seminar?"
yeah, right.
Well, no, no. Well, how do you know then? And then the head is,
Exactly.
yeah,
And it's the backwards thing. Like, I made that entire 12-minute video, and I'm not sure even if it's a good video because I rambled on, so I'm not sure how clear everything was. But I tried to drive that point home, where it's like you're going the other way around. It's the whoever makes the claim of doing stuff like this. It's all on them to like demonstrate this stuff,
yeah,
because then every one of us should go to every single school of such sort and and individually inspect, and then and like reserve belief, no, this is real until proven wrong. That's not how anything would work. Like, we
yeah,
wouldn't be able to have phones right now or technology like this if we were doing it that way. Like, nothing would work. Like,
yeah.
everything would fall apart.
But then they
So,
say, like, well, we're not interested in convincing people. And you're like,
oh,
but you made a whole movie. You hired Morgan Freeman, like
Jesus.
Lyoto Machida, Vicho Doom, like all these famous people
Who you
to
fooling?
legitimize your system, but you're not interested. Like, just going, like, going,
And I love the audacity in that video that that you made of the conversation you had, where it's like just the sheer audacity of like, you come in and you throw some of our students, fine. We throw you around, fine. Like, that's not happening, mate. Like,
yeah,
that's not.
no, but
Like, I mean, appreciate the way
yeah,
that it was, but it's like, even like, if you so believe that that's possible, how on earth do you think that's not going to be valuable for you?
yeah, that's
Like,
the point. It's
how?
like, well, how can that help? And it's like, but it would help.
How can it not?
Yeah, yeah. How
Like,
would
it
it
would
help us
convince
to be
me.
more legitimate if we prove what we did?
Yeah, it would convince me. There you go. That's
Yeah,
like, Come on, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
what can
yeah,
you do?
the more I do it, I mean, I was blown away because our conversation, he was quite polite. He gave us excuses, made
Yeah,
himself seem open. And then I posted the video, sent it to him. And within minutes, the video had been reported for
yeah.
breach of privacy. And it's like, but your name is on the website.
Right? Yeah, it's not
Your
like you're
name is
doxing
out
them.
there.
You're not doxing anybody there.
Yeah. And so,
Come on.
yeah, I edited it, put it back up. It's
Yeah,
like, well,
watch both versions. Yeah.
there you go. It's still out there.
Yeah,
You haven't got rid of it. It just doesn't mention your name. But I think that speaks volumes. If you're too scared to be
yeah.
associated with your own association that you've obviously invested a lot of time and money in, then that just goes to show how poor your system is.
Exactly. Right? Like it just it's very transparent, and I've been talking to people about these things, and it's like a lot of them will say like, why bother? Because these things are so transparent. And to an extent I understand, it's like, oh, this is bullshit, let's ignore it. But like on that one of the conversations that Rob from McDojo Life had with another person was a great demonstration of like how dangerous con artists are. And if Misner and this whole thing wasn't as big as it is, maybe then it would be like, oh, we're just beating up a dead horse. But no, this horse is fucking running and like doing wild shit and genuinely like hurting people and spreading nonsense. So it's
Well,
like,
it's taking advantage. I had somebody like say to me, "But if everyone's happy, why do we care? If those students happy." And it's like, but if your grandma paid a builder like 50
yeah,
grand to do a job that should only cost 2 grand, but she's
right?
happy with that job, just be
You're okay
happy
with
with it.
it.
It doesn't matter if
Exactly. It's flawed, completely flawed reasoning.
yeah.
It's
But the other
it's
thing about it as well, I think for me, the first thing that got me to start doing what I'm doing was seeing all this bullshito out there and having conversations with jiu-jitsu guys and MMA guys where they're saying, "Oh no, Tai Chi's not really fighting. No, Tai Chi's a load of rubbish." And me like arguing with them, but no, but it is a legitimate martial art.
oof,
It's just that there's too many bullshit artists out there. So I think it's really important for people like us to get out there and go, no, no, it does work,
because
just
we're
not
in
like
the
these other
middle.
guys, just to
Yeah,
give
we're
the reputation
between
back
two
to these
fires, right?
systems.
Yeah, and for me, it's like you can imagine, like I can imagine the frustration because I'm same there with like old school jujitsu techniques that are associated with Aikido. Like I'm pretty open, and on my channel, I've sort of like spammed it a bit too much. But Kotegaeshi, the wrist lock, that's
Yeah,
probably my favorite technique of all time. But it's always associated with Aikido, even though it exists in every form of grappling everywhere. It's just a lower percentage technique that's not never going to be as good as a double leg or whatever.
yeah,
But it is there, and it is being ignored in my estimation, and it's a good technique. So whenever I mention it, you can imagine it's the same conversation. No, 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 no. I know it's Aikido, but like just let's roll. Fuck it, let's roll. And then you get it, and it's like
yeah,
it it works. But it's hard then because you can validate like fools with that. Like then I think Dan the Wolfman said the same thing. Like he's a controversial figure, whatever, but he said a good thing when he was like, "See, this can work. Aikido can be applied, but don't you be coming at me like." See, all the Aikido guys are like, "Yeah, we're the best." No, you still suck. You need to train and
yeah,
spar. And it's like you're between two fires: the MMA communities shitting on you, and then the traditional martial art
yeah,
community, and you're like, oh, it's being stretched from both sides, and it's a bit frustrating. But it's a niche though, and that's great for YouTube. I'm hearing so.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm enjoying the journey. I find it the whole process is really good fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, learning how to edit better, making better content, and growing the channel.
yeah,
I can't ever see it being a massive, but
yeah,
it's just good fun at the end of the day, and it's
yeah.
got me back into practicing Tai Chi. So
There you go. And
yeah,
there's no harm in doing it. At least not this way. Like, why not try? And why not
Yeah,
have fun this way? And so far, like, I still can't imagine that we're like doing this, our gang and my friends and the martial geeks thing. It's like just poof, one day we were like, let's do this, and we did it, and it's actually like something's happening, and it's like now looking back, I cannot imagine not doing this. Like
yeah,
this is so much fun. So all the more power to you, I guess, for the people who try and do this. So like we wouldn't be having this conversation. This is awesome. So
yeah,
there
yeah.
we go.
That's the point. I was saying that the other day. Like, I'm on a group called the Far Gym Project
Oh,
on
okay.
Facebook, and there's all these people going, "What's the point? What's the point?" And there's no point in doing online stuff. And it's like, what do you mean? What's the point? Like, I've got loads of friends now that I
Right.
never had before I was doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how can you say there's no point of it?
Yeah, right. It's so good. Like this is breath of fresh air, and like at least to me this is like a completely new thing, but I'm loving every second of it. So
Yeah.
I just
I
need to
mean,
be more consistent.
I do hope to get over because I think I've got some stuff I can show you guys, like MMA stuff, that I think would absolutely go down really, really well. And I think you've got some like of the Kotegashi stuff and that to show me that I'd really enjoy
The
learning. Because
nasty
what I used to do,
uh,
like I used to be really into Chin Na, which is like the Chinese
that's
version
it.
of all
Yeah,
that.
that's what I love doing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to know so many different locks, and and I got all out of practice with it because I started doing
Yeah.
Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and
Yeah.
doing high percentage stuff. But
Yeah.
again, there's no shame in doing it. There's no shame in learning all these things,
Right.
even if you never actually use them.
Use them exactly, and that's the thing. Like whenever, like I've been really thinking about this recently, and I think I made that point in a video a long time ago, but I'm not sure how it came across. But it's like, why not train like all of this stuff? Because when you look at Japanese jiu-jitsu, where all of these grappling arts, judo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, everything came from, like they had everything quantized in like, this is tachiwaza, that's stand-up grappling. Then there's newaza, that's bottom grappling. And then there's yubiwaza, that's joint techniques like chinna. Then there's execution techniques for this and that, and it's all in there. And when you think these people, when they were training all of this, chances of you pulling one technique from all of these various like quantized bits, chances of pulling everything out are zero. Like you're
Yeah,
in your lifetime, you're not going to do it, but it's good to know all of it, because why wouldn't you be ignoring a certain percent of like the techniques that are possible? And it just
yeah,
depends on what your goal is. If your goal is MMA and just like become a champion or this and that, then you have to focus all your time on the best things for that specific rule set.
yeah,
You're not going to spend time doing much of the koregaeshi unless you find a value into like your game and this and that. But you don't need to know like a Japanese execution technique if you're an MMA
yeah,
fighter. But if you love martial arts and you want to do this
yeah.
until you die, why not? You're not gonna
And as
waste
we
time.
said, yeah, we're geeks. We want to
Yeah,
know all the ins and outs of all of
exactly.
these things, the history. And I grew up watching like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, Jet Li. You know, when I was practicing my forms when I was like a teenager, it
Yeah,
was like I was in those movies.
yeah,
I wasn't thinking about, oh well, I really need to learn how to defend myself. I was just
yeah,
like wanting to learn cool
exactly.
stuff.
Same thing. Like I would sometimes think that it's because of like the bullying and this and that. And there was bullying and stuff, but I
Yeah,
never actually felt like I'm gonna use this against bullies. It was just a nerdy thing. I love Transformers, I love comic books, I love martial arts. It's just like that. It's
yeah,
just a thing of fascination that just exists within you and doesn't have to have. I think Ramsey Dewey said in one of his videos that I really like, when he said something similar, and that stuck out to me because that's true. Like you can say that the reason is this and that and bullies and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, we train it because it's fun, and
yes.
that is so true. It's like
Well, my
it's so much fun.
yeah, my one of my Tai Chi instructors, said like he trained martial arts at the time for like 30 years of his life, and he's like, and he hadn't been in a single fight.
There you go.
Yeah, and he said like, you know, the amount of time, effort, injuries that you can get, and everything else. Like, if you're only doing it in case you fight or because you don't want to be injured, don't do martial arts because
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Just do the opposite.
yeah,
But yeah, it's I don't know. The martial arts are it's obviously an endless fascination of ours. Like oh Ramsey Tai Chi's
uh,
just got from Dewey. Yeah, all
yeah.
contrary.
That was annoying, but
Yeah, I can
he
imagine.
does have some good. He has some good points that he makes. I stopped following him, to be honest, because
Yeah,
I just found him a bit. He's made a name for himself, and it kind of expects this level of authority that is far above what he is.
exactly. Yes, and that's the thing I've been catching with him too lately. But I think it happens with a lot of people. It's like when you have a specific thing that you're good at, and then you become popular or whatever because of it, then suddenly your authority or confidence level rises, and then your like need to talk and explain things just starts reaching out to areas that you're not an
Yeah,
expert, but you know that like you feel like, oh, I've made it to this point, obviously like I know what I'm talking about, but no, you don't. There's things I'm never going to be an expert in. No human being's going to be expert at everything.
yeah.
It's just
Well,
impossible.
it's fine
But
to
just
explore
having
things.
the sense to stop and to know when to say, like, okay, this is where I have no clue what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and it's fine to explore things and talk about,
Yeah,
but to then turn around and go, no, this is what it is.
yeah, then
It's,
and that's why
yeah,
the disclaimers are really important to me. Like, I'm not an expert in anything martial arts, and I don't ever claim to be. And whenever I have an idea, I always say, this is my idea, this is what it feels like. And that's it. Like, all my positions are tentative. I can change my opinion anytime. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it also feels liberating in a sense, because you're not tying yourself to like any particular doctrine or idea or whatever. You're just passing by and
yeah.
exploring, and that's
Well, you only have to look
nothing
at
wrong
the
with
evolution of MMA. You know, MMA first started, and everyone was like, you have to do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. You know,
yeah.
that's the king of all martial arts. And then wrestlers started messing up jiu-jitsu guys, and then it's like, oh no, wrestling is king. And then you had like guys like Chuck Liddell who said, well, you can take me down, but I'm just going to get back to my feet again.
Yeah, yeah. And then you
Like,
got little Lyoto Machida,
yeah,
and of course Kazushi Sakuraba, who broke all the Gracies, and
yeah,
it keeps evolving. And like Mirko Krokop from Croatia,
yeah,
like
head
with the kicks and
kicks,
stuff. Yeah, because a lot of people didn't think kicks were a viable option, and
yeah,
now look at people. Look at Edson Barbosa, like doing all this, and Yair Rodriguez, even though he lost to Volkanovski, because everybody loses to Volkanovski. That's just that's just how it works.
yeah.
But like he's doing all of this insane stuff, and it's just like Bruce Lee movies. So things evolve. Like yeah,
Anyway, I'm gonna have to go. I think my girlfriend's come back. She's gonna want to
okay.
come in and dry off. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Say hi to her.
Right, I'll catch you soon. It's been really
All right, this
enjoyable.
was a pleasure. This was great.
Yeah,
Finally, we actually did it. So
yeah.
I have a feeling
Right.
we're gonna do a bunch more and a lot of content and a lot of stuff. So this was
Yeah,
great.
we'll have to think about like a proper specific subject for next time. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think
and
we've done all
then
right.
maybe we should announce it to viewers so that
Yeah,
more people can join and stuff like that. So
yeah. But yeah, good
absolutely.
first couple of videos. Right. Catch you soon.
Catch you soon.
All right.
Take care.
Yeah. Wait, us.
Us.